It's Star Time, and it's your boy, the Star Roddy Rod. And today we're back. We're bringing him back. We got Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, coming back for part two.
Chill. Y'all already know Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, host of Mr. Gentleman, like the podcast, 1/4 of the Premier Way podcast. Star Time, thank you for bringing me back for part two. You already know this was not enough for one interview. This is too big that we had to make the two parts.
I still have a lot of things I want to ask, and there's a lot of background things that probably a lot of listeners had need to know as well.
Yeah, but before we get to that, let's recap a little bit. We spoke about in part one. We spoke about my time in Robeson. We spoke about the birth of Mr. Soul Star. We talked about the Blaze of Glory. We spoke about the Blaze of Click. We spoke about Mr. Gentleman was born, and we spoke about the Summer Bashment part one and two, and the Blaze of Click dismantled.
Yes. So if you're watching this on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on Spotify, iHeart, the pods, please check out part one before you continue.
Yeah. You gotta listen to part one or watch part one before you get to part two. It would make sense later. It would make sense.
All right. So now we see that you are going to the parties, after Blazer Click. Tell me about that break between um BUC into the nightlife. Tell me more about the transition.
All right, so I believe it was 2008. I turned 21 in 2008. So I was already going to the clubs already, slowly going to the club, but everybody else wasn't 21 yet. So I started going with my sisters, T and Danny, because they was promoters by then. And as I started going with them, it made me wanted to get into that lifestyle even more. You know,
Mm.
yeah, it made me wanted to get into it even more. But I can't do much because everybody wasn't 21 yet, so I pretty much had to wait. But then slowly we started going to the spot called Club Tobago,
Oh
which
yeah,
was
Tobago, baby.
yeah in Queen, yeah, which was a 18 and up spot, so people for the team could go. So, but people just can't drink and stuff like that. So we started going there, and it was a cool vibes. That was basically the spot for now until everybody turned 21. And then that how things was going for now with Club Tobago and stuff like that until everybody started turning 21. At least Rondell and my sister started turning 21 in 2009, stuff like that. And then my sister went to a 21 open party. She told me about it. Told Rondell about it because he was 21 at the time. We started going to a party with her for a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah, and that started to be like a weekly thing after that. And as I started going to more parties, Blazer Click for me, Blazer Click slowly was it was through there, but I was slowly. I guess I was in. You could say I was in both worlds basically. But doing going to party, I was going to party. I wasn't doing nothing in terms of promoting or nothing though. It's just going basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you ended up getting an opportunity with New York City Compton. You can expand on that.
Yeah. So as we started going to these parties and stuff like that, we didn't know it was Compton parties. So one day Compton started seeing us way more and stuff like that. He started seeing these like, okay, these guys support me a lot. Okay, I don't know what these guys are, but they keep supporting me a lot. And I had Compton on Facebook already, so I know of him, but I didn't know him. So one day he introduced himself and stuff like that, and basically started treating us like like I guess you could say like family stuff like that. So we would continue to support him and stuff like that. Until one day he invited us to this craft fest, the summer craft fest, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Yeah, and we went to that, and during that time was the time where we wanted to take things serious with the nightlife thing. Like we really want to take things serious, which where we came up with YPG, aka Young Premier Gentleman ENT. And shout
Yeah.
out to Shout out to King Toxin because King Toxin play a part of the name, and I pretty much finished up the name. So yeah, so he came up with the originally the name was Team Premier. Originally, King Toxin came up with that, but that was already copyrighted.
Mm,
So he came up with Young Premier, and I
mm.
just pretty much came up with the Gentleman ENT part, and that's how that happened. I know during the time with myself, Aaron Quinto Sins, Star Rider Rod, and Ray Mac.
Yes, yes, yes. So that started.
Yeah.
And then we was promoting Oceana, right?
Yeah, so what happened with that was I got a call and he asked me and only me at the time that he wanted me to promote the event. And I asked about can I have my whole team or form my team because we started a team and stuff like that. He told me no. He don't want all four of us. So he shut all that down. So I told him, can I,
Disappointed.
yeah. So I told him, can I at least bring one person? He was like, yeah. And he wanted Rondell, like off the back. So that's how that was. And we did Oshina for New Year's Eve. Our first event was we had two events actually.
Hmm?
First event was Oshina for New Year's Eve, and then he also gave a ski trip as well to promote. But we turned down ski trips to promote because that was way too hard for us. For our first real major event, it was way too hard. So we just went instead. We just became this go into that event. We didn't want to promote.
That's how we ended up going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We would, yeah. I didn't even was promoted. We were gonna go anyway, but instead we told them I mean, like it was too hard for us to do that. So we just gonna go. It was way too hard to do that. So it was hard to get people. And by this early in the game, people do not know who we are. People
The
who we know,
comfortability, I get it.
yeah, exactly. People who we know, they didn't take us serious yet. So there's that too. But for Oceana, it was a sell tickets, and I ain't gonna hold you. For our first event, we sold a lot of tickets. We sold 20 tickets, and
20.
for our very first event, and he was really impressed by that. He was really impressed by that. He was like, "Wow!" He was shocked by your first event, 20. That was amazing. So he was impressed by our first night. Yeah, Oceana was a cool vibe. Like I said, I'm not big on Brooklyn parties, but it was a cool vibe though.
So after Oceana, we started at Rebel, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we started at Rebel. Hit me up. He was like, "Yo, how y'all feel about doing Rebel on Fridays?" They remember started off on Fridays, and we were like, yeah, let's do it. I like, cool. Okay, so we started doing it every week. Started doing it every week. And our first real bit at Rebel was we had this model by the name of Aisha Diaz there, at Rebel, and that was our first real event for Friday nights.
I remember that flyer.
Yeah, 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 yeah. It was a cool vibe, and then we just kept going. Even though Rebel, we didn't, we were still new, so we didn't really get the guest list numbers like we should. But I mean, of course, we grew over time, though. You know.
One thing I liked about Rebel, it had the two floors,
Yeah,
and somehow it was a lot more females than anything in there.
yeah, all the time, yo, all the time.
Even my boy Stephon, he always mentioned, even some of my boys that was coming out during that time, they always mentioned that the girl to guy ratio was just phenomenal at Rebel
It was
versus all the stuff we promoted at.
no, yeah,
Oh,
it was Rebel was an amazing spot, and stuff like that. That's one spot that I wish we could do again. You
and then you
know,
had the cages.
cages, yeah, the cages was wild. All the girls. I met a lot of people in Rebel, girl and males. I'm in Rebel who I do cool with to the day, or they do support us to the day. So shout out to all them, and stuff like that.
Oh, y'all was we was doing Rebel, and we what I remember for Rebel, we had a lot of people rolling with us at Rebel.
Yeah,
Because at the
yeah,
time
yeah,
we met, shout out to Kim, shout out to Shine. They was bringing in girls, but
yeah,
yeah, you can expand on that.
yeah. You know, but shout out to Dante, because Dante was the one that met Kim at, I believe, at Rebel actually.
There we go. We can do that too.
Yeah.
Shout out to him too.
Rob brought in Shonda and Cheyenne, because
Mm,
he was already friends with them and stuff like that. Of course, a lot of people from Rose started coming out with us. You know, Clark, James Becker,
Alon.
Alon, a whole lot of people started coming out with us. And we even met a lot of people too. You know, shout out to James and Andre. We met them at Rebel.
Oh, that was
Yeah,
Rebel.
yeah, I met them at Rebel, but we really got close to them at Octagon,
Mm.
stuff like that. So yeah, that's true, son. We did a lot at Rebel. Rebel was a magical time. Like I said, one spot that I always wish that we could have done again.
We will
But
leave Rebel
yeah,
and then head to the pizza spot
yep.
and take up the whole pizza spot.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Yeah, what a time to be alive. Sadly, if you wasn't 21 by then you missed out. That's all I gotta say about that.
So the numbers in Rebel after a while started to get better. Like, how was
Yeah.
the performance wise for y'all?
At first we were up and down. But I think once we got to Saturdays, that when things started getting way better. Because Saturdays was a way better night than we did Fridays. Friday we was but Saturdays though, Saturday was the real party. Saturday was the real test. Like Friday was like the pregame, but Saturday was like the main event.
I can understand because more people will be able to hang out on a Saturday night
Yeah,
versus a Friday night. So I can see
yeah,
that the numbers had jumped from then.
yeah. Also, Saturday night was more celebrities be there. Saturday night, it was more people there Saturday
You
night.
remember who was the celebrities?
I remember Tiara Marie was there one night. I remember Sean Garrett was there. I remember couple of Bad Girl Club people was there,
Mm.
and of course Basketball Wife is them. Drea Michelle was there. Of course Aisha Diaz was there. A model, she was a model. Couple people was there. Um, Joe Button ex girl, like I said, Love and Hip Hop.
Dehari, yeah.
You was there. Yeah, it was a couple people there. It was a fun time. It was a fun
I
time.
think I think they had either Trey or somebody there too. Trey or Chris or somebody.
I feel like one of them was there, but I feel like it wasn't the night we wasn't there.
So you had your birthday, and what year birthday was that?
I had my birthday. I had my birthday twice at Rebel. One year, I want to say 2011,
Mhm.
but that year I wasn't promoted yet. And then I had a year 2012 there.
And if you know, you know. Can birthday parties be wild?
Yeah, yeah. My birthday party be wild, and that night was probably one of the wildest birthday I ever had. Cause of course that night did not end well at all.
Which one was the birthday where you had the was it the liquor bottle in the cake?
That's the birthday I'm talking about 2012. That's
All
the
right, let's
birthday.
go into that.
That was one of the wildest birthdays I had because one, my ex girl was there, and the girl I was talking to at the time was there. So that was one part of it. Two, I got on stage and I had two girls on stage, and it was wild. Three, I was OD drunk, and I was just bugging out. And I mean, I heard stories later, but I pretty much blacked out that night. So during that time, I don't remember everything that happened. But when I heard everything that happened, yeah, it was a wild night to the point that I got suspended from Rebel for a couple of weeks because of that night. So I took a break. I took a break from Rebel. I didn't take a break from the club. I took a break from Rebel, and we went to a couple of spots. I went to Slate during that time. Dante came with me. Went to Santu's Playhouse. You came. Um, I think Sands came.
You was doing like a club tour type of shit.
Yeah, I was doing a club tour until I was able to come back to Rebel.
That is something. I
And,
didn't know about
and
this.
yeah. I mean, that was my mindset at the time. That was my mindset at the time. I didn't know. I didn't call it a club tour. I was just going to places or two. I was able to come back to Rebel. But then one night, we did came back to Rebel, but it wasn't on our normal night. You came with me. That when the Tiara Marie was at Rebel thing happened, and
Oh,
that was pretty much the end of my suspension. They said, yo, we'll go back, yo. So yeah, and it was time to get back to work after that.
so when was the last day of Rebel?
Last day of Rebel. It was the grand finale of a session Saturday at Rebel. A whole lot of people came that day. A whole lot of people came that night. It was
Even for us?
yeah, yeah. We had a whole lot of people. I don't think it was our biggest night. I think our biggest night at Rebel was a couple of weeks before that, where they had this big event called the Wave. The Rave happened. I think it was a rave, a glow in the dark rave. We had over 30 people that day. I don't know how, but we had over 30 people that night. But I know for the grand finale, we had a good like 15 people. Like by then, our numbers started to improve. It was a good vibe that night. Everybody came out just having a good time to end a great legacy club, stuff like that.
Man, I tell you, a lot of people that mess with us during that time really do remember Rebel and talk about Rebel if they can. If you know, you know, basically.
That's a fact. So
So,
yeah.
how did you end up getting in tune with promoting on social media for the promoting the parties? I noticed that you was trying to put everything in the bio. You was saying the announcements and stuff. Like, talk about the process of the changes and the way you promote it, so we know.
Honestly, everything from that, I gotta owe it to Comp. You know,
Oh,
he played
mm.
a big part of helping me grow when it came to promoting and anything business related. He played a big part in my growth in that. So for that, I thank for that for real. And I pretty much studied the way he posted, and I pretty much took it and just pretty much changed it, made it to my way,
Your
and that's
style type of thing.
yeah, there you go, yeah, there you go, and that's how I learned from that really, and I pretty much did that with everything else now. So not only with the promoting, but now also with the podcast and everything else. He played a big part, even if he don't know it. He played a big part in everything that I did. So I want to thank Comp for that. And yeah.
And then you definitely had Safe Premier on the flyers for everything. So
Yeah, it had to. It had to. We had to. He told me use a word that stand out, and we premiered with the word that stand out. And ever since then, people been using it. Hell, we use Premiere now for the podcast. So like Premiere became a big part of our life.
that is entirely true.
Yeah, it wasn't just a saying. It became a brand.
I mean, with the evolution of social media, it kind of worked with the being able to draw the more people on there as well. Like, right?
Yeah, pretty much. And the thing with me is, I already had a following from when we had Scorenags and we had MySpace. I had a lot of those people follow me into IG and Facebook and stuff like that. And then I end up with the nightlife. I end up never with new people, and I add them into the social media and into my social media and stuff like that. And then end up making the pay for YPG. Just doing a lot, doing a lot. Pretty much the same following that went with us from my School Next Days and Blaze of Glory. Some of them follow along to the ride, and I just pretty much got a whole new audience as well.
But it worked in your favor because they were
Yeah,
actually booking birthdays,
yeah. They were
or
booking
they were
birthdays.
referring to birthdays. Like, how did that
Yeah,
happen behind the
yeah,
scenes then?
yeah. Pretty much some people would come out some people was already out, but some people probably didn't know that I was promoted there. What they knew, they're like, oh, okay, next time we come out, we're gonna be under you and stuff like that. Some people would hit me up saying, oh, yo, I have a birthday, or my friend have a birthday, can you help me out? Stuff like that, or can you send me a promoter that could help me out? I'm a promoter, I got you. You know, I mean, a lot of that got way better once we got the Taj, though. Like once we got the Taj, it was pretty much game over.
All right.
Cause yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah.
So, next spot so after Rebel closed, we moved to Octagon, right?
I,
Or
yeah.
was it a little break? What was it?
So so it was a little short break. It was temporary spots between Rebel and Octagon. First we did like a little. The first thing we did like a couple two events at Element. Then we had one event at Catcher. Then we had Octagon after. So it was like a little break, and then we did like three different events, three pre-events, I should say, before we got to Octagon.
All right, so we get to Octagon, and at this time, things were starting to get a little different for YPG, right?
Yeah, Octagon. The first event at Octagon was my birthday event. So first,
Another birthday event.
I had two birthday events at Octagon. The first one when we had the all white, I told my team everybody to wear black and white that night, and that was a really cool premiere event. Yeah, as we got to Octagon, we did start to grow, but we also started to get big headed too during the Octagon days. Like we really started to get big headed. So, but that became our downfall later in this story.
So then when you get to Octagon, there's basically a whole bunch of us taking pictures and
Yeah, it was a big thing. So you know what? I'm gonna tell you one thing. I don't think I ever told you this. I want to tell you I want to tell you what my original goal for YPG, the vision that I have.
let's get there, yeah.
Sans might could have vouched for me on this, but my original vision for YPG was for to have a big team, basically the nightlife version of Wu Tang, and basically each of us have a different spot in New York where we promoting or DJs and stuff like that, and we pretty much take over New York. We promote this different spot, we make our money and promote our brand, have a big network, and then one day we come together, we do a big event of our own together and stuff like that. That was always was my vision doing that, like doing with YPG and stuff like that. So when we would start adding people, that was my plan. That was the plan, but it didn't really,
Mm.
but it didn't
It
work
didn't
like that
pan out that way, I understand.
at all, at all, because I felt like everybody's vision was completely different. People was in the group because they just wanted to have fun. People was in the group because they want to be opportunists. They would try to be opportunists. People was in the group because they just wanted to be an entourage. And
Yeah,
some people, a few people actually followed the vision. You know, so yeah. And other people just want to do their own thing.
yeah. So so at Octagon, I remember I didn't go to that much. Yeah, I
Yeah,
met a lot more people there.
yeah. We did meet a lot of people. Yeah, we did a lot. We met a lot of people actually. To even some people who we knew from years ago, whether from Robeson or stuff like that, started coming out with us or started doing events after gone for our birthdays. And Octagon, me and Sands was wild boys at Octagon. Like we were out of control at Octagon. I gotta hold you.
Right. And then it was so much because then like y'all was kind of dating people in Octagon, and it was just like y'all was mixing business and pleasure.
Oh, I gotta put that on pause real quick, Roddy. I gotta put that on pause. I never. Well, actually,
I
well,
know,
okay.
I know personally you did one person.
Out of my nightlife journey, I did meet up with a lot of girls in my nightlife journey. I could admit that. I was kind of a hoe. I'm not gonna. I can admit that. I'm an allergy with the hoe. But in terms of relationship, I only dated one girl in my nightlife journey. Only one girl. Only one girl.
Oh, but you met? Did you meet? You met her at the club?
I did met her. I met her at Octagon. I did met her at Octagon. I did met her at Octagon. I can admit that. I did met her at Octagon. I ain't gonna tell you who the person name because no. But one day, I told the story before. If y'all know, if y'all heard my Valentine's Day story, clearly y'all would kind of cool who the person is. So, I met this girl one night. It was her birthday. I danced with her. Next thing you know, she said that. Sorry, I tried to get her number. She said she got a man. I like your man's a lucky guy. She gave me her number. We started dating. Things were in a complicated situation. She broke up with her boyfriend, and me and her started dating. We were together for at least a year. Yeah, to get the short version. To get the short version of that. But yeah,
Got
but
it. Got it.
but
Got
but
it. So
yeah,
I know exactly that story by the back of my head.
yeah. But it was people I met. I did met people though, and I did dated some people. I confirmed I dated some people, but it never led to relationship though. To that relationship thing.
Mm.
I did took girls on dates that I met in the club. I could admit that. So yeah. But you're right though. We did mix business with pleasure, especially at Octagon. We did, especially at Octagon. We did definitely. Yeah.
So any other stories of Octagon that you could tell?
Octagon was an interesting place. Of course it wasn't like Rebel, but I feel like with Octagon, me and Sam, we got big headed at Octagon, what caused us to get kicked off. And I ain't gonna hold you. During that time, we was upset about it. We was upset about it,
As
and
anybody would be.
yeah.
It's like losing a job.
Basically. But as time went on, and we actually looked back on it, and actually when we started doing Taj, I feel like for a reason, and he did that for us to grow. And when I started looking at it as that, I was like, I get why he did it, because I ain't gonna hold you. We was wild boy. We was acting up. We was messing up the business. We was mixing business with pleasure. We was making many mistakes, and that just made us into a stronger person as a team, So like I said, thank you, Comp, for that, because that was another lesson that he taught us, and that really caused us to mature when we got to Taj. Really under him no more. He was still helping us out along the way, and even for that, I appreciate it.
That's what's up, man. Shout out
Yeah,
to Compton for that,
of
man.
course,
Like,
yeah. Shout out to of course. One of the best NYC nightlife promoters to this day. So
I know me going as a party goer and the avid thing, he had a lot of people at Octagon, like
yeah,
Executive was the main
yeah,
person, right?
Executive, DJ Sleepy at one point. Yeah,
He had Chow and Platinum Kids there a lot.
yeah. Kevin Crown also
Kevin
there.
Crown a lot. Kevin
Yeah,
Crown ramped up the crowd every time.
yeah,
Yeah, Octagon, I'm kind of miss it a little bit as well.
yeah. I think it was a cool vibe though. It was a cool vibe. Like I said, I felt like I feel like Octagon was our period where we had to really learn about us basically, because it wouldn't prepare us what was coming next.
So, the biggest nights at Octagon was just the birthday parties. Did y'all have celebrities that y'all booked or
Yeah,
big
yeah,
parties like what y'all had?
yeah. I know both my birthday was big. Even though I don't remember the second one like that. Rondell had a big birthday at Octagon. Uncle Mario night was big.
Oh yeah, Mario.
Mario was there. Ted was from Black Ink was there one time. I was trying to think what else. Who else? It was a lot. It was a lot of people there. I just can't remember like the big night for Octagon. But you had a birthday. We were the last birthday at Octagon. Right, with the last day at
I
Octagon.
never showed the hell out. My
Yeah,
classmate from City Tech came, two of my classmates from City Tech came through and everything.
yeah,
But I also want to get into the special events that we also did offside.
yeah, yeah. Of course, we did a lot of brunches at times. We did boat rides. We did so, some other events. I just can't remember. Even some that we wasn't a part of at promoters, but we just went just to go.
Mm.
But yeah,
But them boat rides was becoming a yearly thing.
it was. Yeah, it was. It was a your thing. It was a yeah. It was a your thing. Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
So the special events was kind of dope.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Yeah, we had a lot of
You
fun.
do, you would think that those special events are harder to promote
Um,
from your
some
stance.
yeah, because selling tickets, selling tickets is always not the easiest. 'Cause people sometimes don't want to pay for it. So people like to go for stuff for free and stuff like that. Unless it caught their attention, or unless if they DJ, their favorite DJ there, or they got people who they know is
They
going.
can get to come
Yeah,
together
yeah,
type of
yeah,
thing.
yeah, pretty much.
Because I personally, I use Eventbrite now, so I rather that method so that it
Yeah,
shows up in
yeah,
my
yeah.
phone and I ain't gotta worry when I get to the door. I just hold my phone up.
Yeah, and also it's one thing that we always, our big night always was Halloween. I feel like every time we do a Halloween event,
Talk about
we
that
we,
real
we
fast.
always kill it. Yeah, like we had at one point we had like a streak of Halloween from Rebel to probably Tide 2019, where every year
Whoa.
Tide every year every Halloween event we killed it. Like whether it's from guest list, whether it's from ticket sales, we would kill it every year. Like and yeah, it's always been a thing.
That is something, bro.
Yeah,
So, um, after Octagon ended, now y'all gotta look for another spot.
yeah. So we were still pretty much going around places looking for another spot. We would try to do 760. We would try to do Slate. We thought about Slate. We were trying to do another spot, and then with Taj. And I not gonna hold you. I was iffy about Taj because when I went for your sister's birthday during that year,
Mm,
I didn't have the best experience at Taj.
mm.
But you know what? Let's take a chance. So me and Sands, we had a meeting at Taj with to be main promoters at Taj, to be one of the main promoters at Taj.
Mm.
He gave us a deal that wasn't so great, but we still was considering going to Taj. But then we realized our promoter that we knew MTA Rocky was also doing Taj, and Rocky was like he knew who he was and stuff like that. He knew us at the Craft Fest, and Rocky was like, you know what, he Rocky decided to put us on, and we got our spot at Taj on January 10th, 2015.
Gotcha, gotcha.
And no, and fun fact, when I started promoting, my sisters, they knew a lot of promoters that's in the game. They knew who Rocky was. They knew who Mac was. They knew a lot of people. But I decided to not use their name to get into the promoter. I wanted to pretty much do it myself, because I didn't want to be known as T and Danny little brother. I wanted to be Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman, Ken of YPG and stuff like that. I wanted to pretty much make it my own identity, basically.
And I get that.
Yeah,
I totally get that now when I look back.
yeah,
At
because
the time, I really thought that was a cheat code.
yeah, it was. I didn't want that. I didn't want that. I didn't want that because my sister know Rocky, so I could have had told them, oh, I'm the brother, and I could have got in like that. But I didn't want that. I didn't want that. So I wanted my hard work to show, and Sam's hard work to show as well, because I got Sam with me too. So it wasn't just a me. It wasn't just a me thing. So I wanted us to basically
Oh,
get it on our own. Get it on our own. Because people wanted me to get the help. I didn't want the help. I didn't want the help.
got it, got it, got
Yeah,
it.
I didn't want the help. So, in case you didn't know why I never went that route, that's why. Because I wanted to figure it out on my own.
Gotcha.
and it worked out. It worked out on my own. So yeah, it worked out.
So when you first started doing Taj, was Catra soon after?
Catch was like a later that year. Catch was later that year. But Todd, we did Todd first. Um, first couple weeks we would kill a Todd first couple weeks, and then we have a long slow build for Taj after that for a while until like maybe close to the summer. We had a slow build on
Wow.
Taj through the summer, yeah, and then Taj started picking up after that. Before we got to Taj, I mean at the Taj, I believe in March, we started between March and April, we started doing Studio 21 for a little bit.
I remember that.
With the Empire Boys. He put us on he put us on to do Studio 21 for like a good 3 months and stuff like that. And that was a cool event, that was a cool event. I mean, fun fact, we never had a good guest list on that event at all. We never had a good guest list at all for that event. But I did met people though. I did met people. It had a couple people who I knew came out to that event, but we just never got fully got paid for that event until one time, which was my birthday event that I had Studio 21, and then soon after we had Taj. One of the promoters who promoted at Taj, he told me and Sam about Catcher. And like, yo, I do Catcher on Fridays. Y'all should come through, stuff like that. By then, Studio 21 was pretty much over. It was pretty much over. So we were like, okay, sure. So we started doing Catcher that July, and the same year July. So Taj, we started off Taj bad, and then we started killing it. We did our first 2 weeks at Taj was good. Then for a whole 3 months, Taj was bad, and then we started picking up again at Taj. Well, Catcher, we were hot for a minute at Catcher. We were hot for like good 2 months at Catcher.
But I remember,
Until Catcher died down. Yeah.
wow. But I remember that at Taj there was so much rules that a lot of people was not interested really at one point, right? Is that
Yeah,
true?
yeah, it was. The thing was when we got the Taj, we tried to get all our followers who was with Octagon to come to Taj, but a lot of people did not like Taj because of the strict dress code. Um, it just had so many strict rules for no reason, basically.
I
So many
came all the
rules.
way with a sneaker ball and they turned me away in the snow.
Yeah. It was that bad. It was really bad. And I think that and one thing about Taj, I feel like that would hurt us more than anything. First when we first started, because we had people come in and stuff like that, and they got turned away for the little thing. Of course, which I know this story is coming, so I'm might just say now. It was a period where I have a birthday event at Taj, and a lot of my friends got turned away because of the weight, and I was really conflict that night because one of my birthday. I didn't want to deal with the stress of my birthday, but then also I threw it in a place of business. I still gotta handle business as well. And that night I was confident and hurt. Kind of like, dang, yo, like it messed up. My friend can't get in because of something I can't really do much about. And it was
Out of your
disrespectful.
control.
Yeah, I was really out of my control. It was really disrespectful, and I apologized to my friends about that situation. I really did feel
Yeah, I remember I
bad.
seen the next day you wrote a long post
Yeah, it was a
about it.
yeah, it was a. I didn't want them to think that I didn't care about the kid. That wasn't the case at all. I did care. But it was one thing that wasn't something that I didn't know what to do. And it turns out it was just that door guy who was there at the time. Good thing they got rid of him later, but after he left, that situation pretty much changed. So so yeah, it was a lot. That situation was a lot, man. I hold you. That situation hurt me really bad. I know it took a while for my friends to trust me after that, but yeah, I mean that time was a product moment.
It was a rough time.
It was. Trust me.
when it came to promoting because you were still doing it every week regardless.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes you have to make money no matter what. And I wanted to fix the problem. I wanted to fix the problem too. I didn't want to just give up that. I wanted to fix the problem. And I felt like I ended up fixing the problem because I spoke to the GM after that. I spoke to many people after that about what happened that night. So it wasn't like I wasn't doing that behind the scenes about it, because I was really fixing the problem behind the scenes and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
man.
So
That was a very disappointing night.
it was, it was, and appreciate Sands for that, for really helping me out with that situation. Cause he understood it was my birthday, so he knew that I didn't want to handle that. So he stepped in and tried his best to do it the best way he can as well. So yes, shout out to Sam for that too.
But at the same time, as promoters, how much power do you really have? You don't own the club. You don't have discretion of who comes and goes.
Yeah, I feel like we would have the power once they really know who we were. We still were kind of new. We still were like
Oh,
we were through a year in. We basically like a year in, so we through certain things that we couldn't really do. Like
as
it,
opposed if y'all was there for like 4 years and it happened.
like if that happened now, I think we would have had more power now to do that. We could have
I,
fixed it now. Cause we got the club, well, we got the club trust, we got the GM trust and stuff like that.
mhm.
Back then we were just literally a year in, literally a year in. Like we couldn't have done much.
Yeah. What was I gonna say?
But also, since we're doing this timeline, something else happened during this time as well.
Oh yeah, tell me about that second situation.
Yeah, so during this time, as you remember, we had a Summer Basket 2 was a major success. During August of 2015, Summer Basket 3 came out.
Oh boy, Summer Bashment 3.
Summer Basket 3.
The planning was annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So Summer Batman 3. So we wanted to do a thing on Summer Batman. People been asking for another Summer Batman, so we tried to deliver. We tried to do it a different way. Of course, we had Roddy and Germs as the main DJ this time,
Mm.
and stuff like that. We doing that at a different location, all the way in Canarsie and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like this planning was more stressful than the other ones because this is the first time we have a house party in like good 4 years, 4 to 5 years. Oh yeah, no, it was 5 years. So
It was 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Remember, because the last part two is till 2010.
That was 2010. Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is 2015. Yeah, 5 years. So and stuff like that. Also during that time, I lost my phone during that time. So so a lot was happening during that time, and when the night happened, boy, it was stressful. Boy, it was stressful. We DJ DJ set the DJ wasn't the DJ equipment wasn't working. We had to go back and forth for liquor, stuff like that. The people
The place was far.
papers far. Um, it was people who was in charge of the house would feel like they was in charge of the party too, and it took from what we were really doing, basically, the leadership. I should say leadership was handled weird. You know,
I was leaving that to y'all.
yeah, it was just a lot. It was a lot. It was stressful. It was a stressful day. And on top of that, it was a lot of drama. It was a lot of drama. And it was more guys than girls.
But the guys that actually showed up,
They didn't like the selection.
they didn't like the selection of girls. I'm pretty sure the girls that actually did come.
They didn't like the selection of guys either. So it was like, yeah, it was a really bad turnout, yo. It was a really bad turnout. I was embarrassed by that turnout actually. Like really embarrassed. So, like, dang. Like and and also somebody low key brought a gun too to the bachelor. So
Yeah, I remember that story.
yeah, so it was that night was wild, son. That night was wild. And
It
yeah.
just made us not want to do summer bashments again at that capacity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that was pretty much the death of summer bashment, son.
But if we ever do like a party at this scale, we know that it got to be better planned.
Yeah, I agree. It gotta be better plan. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah, it had to be better plan, and
Better location that people can get to.
exactly because I had people for the Bronx that wanted to come to the party, but they was just like, "Yo, it's too far for us." And I understand it. It was way too far. It was hell far from me, and I live in Brooklyn.
You live in Brooklyn yourself in those far.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, it was the location. I feel like was one of the biggest mess ups. I mean, even East New York was far, but people still could have came. You know, when we did it East New York, it was far, but people still came. You know, so but Canarsie,
For
that was
for
far.
some, it was like a nearby train or bus,
Yeah, yeah. And this it was only one train going to the location.
and then you had to take a bus the rest of the
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So it was a lot. It was a lot. Yeah. So Embarrassment 3 was the worst, worst event. We try our best to save that event the best way we can, but it just didn't. It just didn't happen. You know.
And then I wish that more people would have helped us with a promoter,
I agree. I agree.
because like we tried to, but maybe they did, but then their people was also saying
Yeah, too far.
Canarsie.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot. But
and
yeah,
I
though.
ain't gonna lie, like I would like when me and Jerz was DJing, it was really we was trying, but sometimes even the speakers was knocking out and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Everything just went bad.
Everything went bad. Yeah, but
You can't even blame one element or one person because you can't
yeah,
do it.
nah. I mean, all we were all yeah. We just gotta blame us because it was our event, and that's how we got. That's how we had to look at it. You know, and just know that next time if we was to go back to the capacity, we just got to be more prepared for it. That's basically what it is. You know, sometimes accountability is good. We just had to take that. We had to take the L for that. We had to take the L for that.
And we definitely don't even if somebody mentions it, we shut it down right away. Like, nope,
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
it ain't happening.
Pretty much. I feel like it's more likely now because we know what to do now, but we just have to see.
But now it's gonna take more monetary
Pretty
means.
much, yeah, pretty much, yeah, pretty much.
Because when we was doing in the past, we probably just supply like the liquor and
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
that would be it. Now it's gonna be more stuff we gotta supply.
yeah.
Because if we promote an event, we want whoever's helping us out to help us promote too.
Yeah,
Fill the place up.
I agree. I agree.
So now we did how was Kat? I realized that you was doing Katra. So tell me about the Katra days.
So, so when we got on Catcher in July of 2015, when we first started, we were doing good for the first couple of months. We were doing good for Catcher because Catcher was more relaxed. Catcher would have like time, which the dress code was strict, stuff like that. But then out of nowhere, Catcher just slowed down, like slowed down heavy when it came to people coming out and stuff like that. Unless we had a
Uh,
unless we had a major birthday, and stuff like that. But Catcher was cool. Um, for me, I still like the Todd more than I like Catcher. But yeah, Catcher was cool though. Catcher was cool. Yeah.
but then you had any bad nights or anything that happened in Katra that we could talk about? So I'm
Yeah.
not really too familiar about bad nights in Katra.
Yeah. I mean, typical me getting drunk and stuff like that. Yeah, but I had many bad nights at Catcher, but a lot of them wasn't as bad as what I had in the past though. You know.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, but I did have bad nights. It's been nights where I was drunk and I just don't remember anything. Bad nights where, well, this is not necessarily bad, but I had a stalker and catcher one time, and she followed me in the catcher, and yeah, and stuff like that.
How'd you handle that?
I pushed her onto somebody else, and then now she pretty much married to that dude now. So yeah, yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah. That's
You
it.
made a love connection.
Without me even trying. Yeah, without me even trying. Like she was trying to get me one night and stuff like that. She's able to do that. We try to get a dance. I pushed him, pushed like on to they start dancing with him just to be distracted, and then like, I guess later started connecting with dudes. So I'm like, oh yeah, okay. So yeah, it worked out. But I ain't gonna hold you. Catcher also was me just doing the thing with the ladies as well. You know, with the ladies, getting a number, to do all the extra stuff with the ladies. Yeah, yeah, stuff like that. But yeah, yeah, Catcher was an instant place.
So, when did y'all stop doing catch? Was around the pandemic?
And well, both spots we stopped at the pandemic. I think Catcher though, I thought that Catcher probably a month before the pandemic because I just wasn't going. Wasn't I just wasn't going. But yeah, pretty much around the pandemic basically.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Cause Taj, I went to Taj literally the week before the pandemic. I went to Taj 3 weeks before the pandemic, and then the week later, pandemic started. Catcher was literally probably like 2 to 3 weeks before the pandemic. I started going, but Catcher was still going on though. I just stopped going.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the the pandemic happened, and I know you had to go through a lot of changes. So you're gonna talk about a summary of what was going through your mind to what you was going through 2020.
So pandemic, I'm not gonna hold you, changed me a lot. You know, in the pandemic, I was diagnosed with anxiety, and I started getting panic attacks, like a lot. I had my first panic attack was on March 16th and stuff like that because pandemic was start picking up. I thought I had COVID at the time, so I started feeling weird, stuff like that. I couldn't breathe. And I was just panicking for like a whole night from 11 p.m. until 6 a.m. and it just wouldn't stop. So I thought I had a heart attack and stuff like that. So I ended up going to the hospital, and doctor was like, "What you doing here? You're not supposed to be here. If you don't got COVID, you're not supposed to be here." So next thing you know, she just told me that I would have an anxiety attack, a panic attack. She just gave me medicine for it and stuff like that. As I was taking the medicine, as I was taking the medicine, the panic attack was going on for like 3 to 4 weeks. Still going on.
What?
Yeah, it was not stopping. It was not stopping
A long
until
time, man.
yeah, yeah. Until I had to stop it completely, and then that would stopping stuff like that. Yeah, it just changed my mindset into like I was just I guess I was scared a lot. It was and I never really spoke about it because I feel like people didn't understand what I was going through. So I even one of the things that I would only my family knew, and probably some people from the team knew, but I think people didn't know the extent of how bad it was. And
Nah.
yeah, and it was bad to the point of I started getting phobias of not going out and many things. I had to go to therapy for it and talk to them. And doing the therapy, it taught me a lot more about myself, everything that I was actually going through. It even helped me out about past trauma I was holding in for a very long time.
Wow.
So yeah, the pandemic really like changed me to the to that. Let's say that period from 2020 to probably 2022 pretty much changed me into like basically for a long period of time. This took me in a place that I definitely do not want to go back to no more.
Gotcha. I
Yeah,
noticed that you stepped back from social media sites for a couple of days or a week, right? Was it
yeah,
long? Was it a week or
yeah.
more?
I think it was because it was a week or maybe 2 weeks. It was because like we were, it was a lot of news thing too, and I would get triggered by a lot of things. I would get triggered by the news. I would get triggered by
losing family and stuff.
Yeah, people dying. That was a lot. It freaked me out bad. Like it freaked me out bad, and yeah, and then hear about other people that actually know dying too. It really did trigger like a lot. It did trigger fear. And
Wow.
the thing about me, I don't usually get fear or nothing, but that was the one time that I was actually scared of a lot of things. So yeah, it was a lot, you know. And it's
Man.
something that none of us should want to go through again.
So during that time, you lost your job at New York and Co.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. And that was another thing too. Even though I hated New and Cold after a while, I've been there for many years. And it was time that I was leaving, but if things that did fall through, because I had a job that was about to go for a new job, but things just didn't fall through. It was always something happen. It always something happened with the job that I was going for. Basically, like I was doing construction for a little bit. I was in New York Cold, and I was going to leave New York Cold for that. But then that fell through. That fell through, and I had security I was going through. But then that didn't work out. And then other jobs that I would have interviewed for, but all those things didn't work out. I basically just stayed until something happened. Then Cole got closed down, and I guess when it closed down, I got mixed feelings about it. No, I was
You felt
happy.
relieved at one point, right?
Yeah, yeah, I was happy because it was a job that I did. I did. I liked Cole, but I just wasn't happy because I was growing. I was growing as a person there. That's what it really was. I was just stuck in the same place. I needed something else to really grow. So when that closed down, I was relieved by it. But I wasn't happy because that was my only income that I was making during that time. You know,
Mm.
yeah, and that was probably one of the reasons why I didn't leave in the first place because I didn't have no other income at the moment. Like, what am I gonna do? You know, and then when that actually happened, I'm like, dang, what am I gonna do? So yeah, it was a lot.
But thankfully, you was able to get on the unemployment
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
with
had
the pandemic relief
yeah,
added stuff, right?
yeah. I had unemployment for a little bit, so that helped out with a lot of things with my brand. It helped out with my bills and stuff like that. And yeah, it was good for a minute. I ain't gonna hold you. I got comfortable on that. I got comfortable, so that messed me up too. That's my fault now. I got comfortable on that, but it did help me out a lot during that time though. It helped me out a lot. I wasn't using the money just for wasted stuff. I was usually using it for meaningful stuff that I needed for a long time. Like for example, this mic when I started the podcast,
Mm.
I was able to get a mic and stuff like that, and everything basically everything I needed, and a few stuff that I wanted for myself, basically. That brings me what I did with that money. But then of course things changed after that. But yeah,
So, you started to do Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle in January of 2019, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I started doing the podcast. I met the gentleman like the podcast January 2018. But the idea of me when I started a podcast was really like around sometime early 2018.
Mm.
Originally, we want to do a team podcast first. Some radio site hit me up saying that you want to have a radio station, do this radio at this radio spot, and we were like, yeah, but it didn't happen during that time because we didn't know who want to be a part of the show. We didn't have the money for it. You had to pay for the studio, so that idea went off the table. So then, next later that year, a friend of mine, Queen Libra, she had a podcast show. And I asked
Mm.
her, how you got your podcast show? She told me about the app called Anchor. So I like, for real? Nice. So next thing you know, I download Anchor. And I can say I'm going to start my podcast show in September of 2018. But now so I pushed it back. October came. No, I pushed it back. November came. No, but I got a name now. December came. I pushed it back. Early January came. Like January 1st, January 2nd. No. Next thing you know, January 19th, I was supposed to go to Todd's that night because we had the I believe it was our 7 year anniversary party we
Mm-hmm.
had and stuff like that. And I told myself, I ain't gonna go to Todd tonight. So I decided to stay at home and work on this podcast episode. So, like, I hit up 5 people. I asked them, like, yo, should I do this? Should I start my podcast show tonight? People are like, yeah, I believe you were one of the person I hit up to. I believe you're one of them. But
Mm.
I like, yeah. So I started recording the first episode, episode 0, and I ended up put it out. I I wasn't sure how it was going to go or what
Mm.
direction I was going, but next thing you know, a lot of people liked the show. So I'm like, okay, cool. I know during that time when I started the show, I had music on the show because I wanted to make it have like a radio feel to the show. Through the time, I didn't think nothing was what's going to happen, but yeah. And as time went on, the show grew little by little. You know.
So, you ended up interviewing your sisters on the first episode, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I interviewed my sister Dayelle for the first episode, but the gentleman liked the podcast. And it was a pretty quick episode. Originally I was supposed to have both of them in the first episode. That was the original plan, was to have both of
Mm-hmm.
them in the first episode, but that didn't work out. Tony didn't want to be on the mic at first, so
Mm-hmm.
and plus the had her podcast premiering a week later, so I like what to do her way of promoting her show as well. So that when I started that, I did that based on that, and yeah, and that's how the first episode came about. I mean, of course, it was a long. She was probably one of the little shortest interview that I ever had, but yeah, that was the first episode.
So, how was it interviewing people that you didn't even know personally?
It was the thing was I was nervous doing that because I didn't know them at all. I know two of the people for season 1. I knew them, but I didn't know them like that. Which was Bron Boom Boom and Miss Molly Podge. Like I knew Miss Molly Podge because I seen her in the club. I didn't know her as a person during that time. And Bron Boom Boom, she always been on my social media for years, but we just wasn't close like that. So when I interviewed them two, I didn't know them. I was nervous because I was like, dang, I don't know them. I'm not sure if we're gonna connect the way it's because about chemistry, something like you want to see if it gonna have a chemistry. And I didn't think I was sure that could happen, but
Mm-hmm.
as time went on, it worked. It worked pretty good. So I was nervous when I interview people I don't know. I'm always nervous when I interview people I don't know. It always just be a me thing. I always feel more comfortable when somebody I do know.
And I realized that like you were also going on appearances, but like most of the people that was appearances were like people that you met through different Facebook groups and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so my first podcast appearance was on Surviving the Journey podcast with Jay Siobhan. And I met her through a anchor group on Facebook and stuff like that. I believe she was on my show first because I thought I listened to her show and I enjoyed it. She was on my show first. I know that episode had so many drama, so many not drama, so many errors, I should say, because
Mm-hmm.
Anchor during that time, Anchor was just terrible and stuff like that. And she wanted me to come on her show, and we had the same issue with Anchor happening on that show as well. And then as time went on, I joined a podcast family by the name of the Co-op Circle of Outstanding Podcasters, and we
Shout out to
started
them.
out to them, yeah, Angelica, Cuba, Queen Pen, and all of them, and and I started being collaborating on their show. When they had shower karaoke, I went on their show, and then I went on a person that I was cool with, Miss Cece, because she had her show during that time too, called For the Love of Cece. I was on her show, and yeah, that first couple of episode of 2020, like guest appearance of 2020, I was just like trying, but I still wasn't big on going on people's platforms yet. I was still like shy behind that.
But for me, watching you go through that at first, that took courage.
It did. Especially during that time, during the pandemic, I was dealing with acid reflux and post-nasal drip, and my throat was crazy during that time too. So that's another thing too. So my throat was like messed up around that time too. So that made things even more harder. But I bet people didn't notice my voice was messed up during that doing those recordings.
So you have did a countdown show, I remember.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the countdown show. So every time we got to a mid-season finale or a finale episode of Mr. Gentleman like the podcast during the early days, I would have a countdown show based on the top 10 songs that I played on my show, and that was a fun fun type of show because people love, like, I feel like during the early days people didn't like my show because of me. People like my show because of the music, and during that time, I wanted to give people what they wanted, and that was pretty much the music. So yeah, the countdown show is pretty fun. In some episode, I pretty much got a little open. I opened up a little bit about things going on in my life and stuff like that. And it was a fun experience. I felt like my favorite countdown show that I ever did was the old school countdown show. That was like one of my favorite ones I did. And we
And
did,
you,
yeah, and we did 6 episodes
yeah.
of those, and we did 6 episodes of the countdown show, and that was a fun experience.
And I remember like listening to your countdown shows because it broadened my knowledge of older school R&B of the 80s and stuff. Songs I
Yeah,
never knew about and stuff.
yeah, and it's funny because I was going to do a '90s version of it, but then things happen with Spotify and stuff like that. Which I'm pretty sure we will get to that soon. But yeah,
But you can talk about that now. What happened with the Spotify situation?
okay, so they didn't know, copyright infringements happen. So it was a time where Mr. Gentleman like the podcast, I think my show wasn't going to grow as big as it was. I was thinking about, people told me like, yo, Kenny, you better be careful. They're gonna come for you with copyright infringement. I like, no, they're not. I was like, no, they're not. My show not big enough for that. I was thinking my show was not big enough for that. Boy, I was wrong. so I believe it was July of 2020. I
Uh-huh.
got my first copyright infringement, but when I got my first one, it wasn't. They didn't know. They didn't let me know. So I was like, "What happened with one of my episodes?" And it was the episode where my cousin was on there. So that was the first episode that got the copyright infringement. And then next thing you know, I got a letter from Spotify say, "Yo, we're taking this episode down." Stuff like that because you didn't want to change the copyright infringement. I still didn't take it serious. Next thing you know, they took the whole show off Spotify now.
Oh wow.
So I tried to figure out, how am I going to do this? How am I going to fix it? And stuff like that. So I had them talk to them and stuff like that. They gave me another chance. They put it back. And stuff like that. So I didn't think nothing of it. Things. I do put music on the show. I didn't think nothing of it. They took it off again. They took it off Spotify again. At this time, it was worse. A lot of episodes got removed. So I was like, dang. So next thing you know, I I rebrand my whole show. I took every music off the show, and then since I was doing that, I was really depressed when that happened. Like, I like, dang. I believe this was like season 4 mid finale, and it was it was an episode called Rebrand and Reset, and I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break. I took like a month and a half break during this time, and I just said I'm gonna go and rebrand the show. So during this time, I removed every song off every episode. I re-edited all my episodes. I re-edited every episode from
That
one
had to
episode.
take a lot of time.
It took a month and a half. It took a month and a half. It was from episode 61 to episode 0.
Mm.
Yeah, and even by then we had old school show as well by then too. So I even had to add those shows as well. And it took a while, and I didn't talk to nobody. I didn't put out no episodes. I just really just like we added everything. Like every episode pretty much got rebrand, and nobody knew that we rebranded the episode. So I was just adding in. I re-recorded some of the early episodes, and yeah, and I just did that until it was ready. It was ready on April 2021. All the music removed, all the audio sounded up to date. Basically, I'm edited and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, everything was just rebranded. And yeah, even though losing the music was bad, but I felt like without music, it helped the show grow even more. Cause now,
Wow.
cause now it wasn't just them come to my show just listen to the music. It was them come to my show listen to me and what I had to say. And that when I started to just open up more on my show now, cause now they gave more people to know what who is Kid Mr. Gentleman. Cause I
Behind
felt
the
like
mic, the real
yeah,
person. I
that
get that.
I felt like when I had the music, I wasn't giving them much. I wasn't giving them much. I felt like I was pretty lazy. Now I felt like I was a little lazy. I can admit that now. I can admit that now. I felt like I was a little lazy. I didn't have any guests, but when it came to my solo episode, I felt like I was a little lazy for giving them people more more me. You know.
Right. So, talk about the birth of all the spin-offs from the wrestling to the date night and yeah, go into them.
All right, so wrestling. It wasn't wrestling show, not a spinoff. It's pretty much, I guess, a segment. You can say it's a segment.
Oh, segment?
Yeah, it's a segment. Yeah, yeah. Like wrestling. Like I can say the segments on my show with wrestling. There's a segment. Um, the new character show that I have now, the top 20 character show, the segment, and something else in the segment. They That Talk was originally a segment before it became a show, but we will get to that a little later. But the first spin-off show I had was Unsigned Hype, New Music Unsigned Hype show, which started in 2019 after I believe it was June 2019, and where I played new music and play unreleased artists, basically unknown new, like indie artists, basically. Stuff like that. I played their music. I played their music and stuff like that. Originally, I wanted to interview them, but at the time, this thing just didn't work out. So that spin-off show only had 6 episodes, and then I scrapped it. But I brought that show off back later, which is now is a conversation about music, which was reborn in 2021. So I mean, pretty much that was more of like talking to artists about their music journey and stuff like that, and then have pretty much different music topics.
I was gonna say something.
Yeah, yeah,
So that's more of a repurpose, right?
yeah, 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 yeah. You can say
You
that.
could
Yeah,
call that repurpose in this case, right? Go
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. Basically, like a revival, basically. It's a revival. Yeah, basically. But before that, we had this show. We had this other show where originally was supposed to be what Conversation About Music was supposed to be. It was a show called I Love Music, and originally it was basically about talking about old school music. And I wanted to have somebody to come along on the journey with me. And the person I wanted to do it with was you, Roddy,
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that. And as we were playing for that show, we would talk about a lot of old school things, a lot of old school stuff. Old school would just keep popping up and stuff like that. So one night I slept on it and stuff like that. I woke up the next day and I'm like, yo, the old school show. I got to
Mm-hmm.
tell Roddy this. So I told Roddy about the new idea for the show, and
And I was with
named
it.
it. Yeah, and we named it Old School, and Roddy was with it. Old School show started in October of 2020, which is now pretty much still going on to this day. We're on its third season, which we're about to end pretty soon. Yeah, Old School show. Yeah, Old School show was a really popular show out of all the spin-off shows, stuff like that. Then Conversation came out in 2021. The official version came out in June of 2021, which is now the second season. Which season one was cool, but it picked up a lot more season two. And then we got the newest spin-off show that came out in April of 2022, which is Date Night Talk. And like I mentioned earlier, Date Night Talk was originally a segment. Originally,
Mm-hmm.
it has 7 segments, episodes on that, and I guess saying that we were supposed to come out with us episode. It was supposed to come out originally in 2021, but I pushed it back heavy. I didn't wasn't sure what idea I was really going with. So they didn't know. I wanted to have a co-host for the show for Date Night Talk.
Mm,
Originally, Naya was supposed to be the co-host for Date Night Talk originally.
mm,
She was supposed to be the co-host for Date Night Talk, and that way when she had that pilot episode, that was pretty much a test episode and stuff like that.
yeah.
And it was cool, but I felt like me and her was cool because me and her know each other for a long time. We went to school together, but I felt like me and her. I didn't feel like me and her would have the same chemistry doing that show together than the other person that I already had who I wanted on the show. And the person who I felt like I had more chemistry with was Miss Vanna B. Because I could tell that she was serious about the process and she really had a good insight on relationship stuff like that. So that why I added Vanna B to the project, and it's been pretty good ever since. We're on the second season, and that's pretty much almost done as well. And yeah, so we got 3 spin-off series right now. A conversation about music every first Thursday. They not talk pocket myself and Vanna B every second and third Thursdays, and the old school show myself and the Star Right Around every fourth Thursday. And when I came up with the spin-off series Thursday block, because that was a thing until last year, I should say. And what I wanted to do was I wanted
Mm,
to stack up all my spin-off shows into one night. At first, I was debating if I should move with the gentleman like the pocket to 2 nights, the 2 days. I was
mm.
really debating because I didn't want to put too much on the people on my audience. But then when I realized that Did I Talk was already on Thursdays, I was like, why not just add all the shows on Thursdays? It would make more sense that way. And Sunday would be more of the main series, and they have more time for that. So I decided to do Spin Series Thursday in May of 2023, and that's how that happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've noticed personally that you had a lot of guests on the main series.
Yeah.
Where all those people, how did you get in contact with them? Was it mainly through DMs and Twitter and whatnot? Like, how was the process of getting them together?
So some people who've been a guest on my show, I know them personally. Some people I probably had them on social media for a very long time. Other people I met through podcast community, or some people I just randomly they just randomly hit me up and wanted to be on the show. So basically, the guest process was basically anyway like all avenues. And very few people that I don't really know at all who just hit me up and say, "Yo, can I be in your show?" And that really happened.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Were
So
you nervous to because you didn't know them from a hole in the wall? So were you
yeah,
just
yeah,
nervous of
yeah. I
getting
was,
that? Okay.
I was because I wasn't sure of how the chemistry would go between us, or if they like if they interested in me, or if they want me, or what was their real reason to come to the show? Were they coming to the show for long term networking, or were they just came to the show just for opportunity, and then be a one and done and that's it type of thing? Because I'm the type of person who would like to have long term partnership, a long term network. I don't want things to be one and done, but some things have to be that way.
It's life, and everybody has different
Yeah,
facets in their personality, so it's not just happens.
yeah, pretty much, yeah, pretty
There's
much,
nothing you can do about that.
yeah, pretty much.
So tell me, what's the biggest episodes that you had for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle?
Ooh, so I gotta remember this top five. Top five. Man, I know my 33rd, I think my 34th birthday, I believe, was one of my biggest episodes for Mr. Jim Like the podcast. The second was the old school show, Nickelodeon episode, of course, with you,
Oh
Magnum,
yeah.
you, Magnum Marshall was on that. Was one of the biggest episode. Third, I believe it was Conversation about Music. First episode, Conversation about Music, was a big episode. Fourth, I believe, was I want to say Angelica's second interview that she was on my show. I believe that was a big episode. And the fifth, I want to say Disney, old school show Disney episode with Magna was on it.
Oh wow. 'Cause I
Yeah,
remember when you was telling me off screen that the one with Pam was huge
that was he was doing. That was too during that early time. It was he was
during the early time. Got
early
it.
time. Yeah, early time. Yeah, that was a good interview. Both of PM interview was really good. But at time when no one, those five was like the top five ever, basically.
Got
So
it. Got
yeah,
it.
yeah.
What are some other difficulties you faced with Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle that you could share?
Um, getting the guests has been difficult. Early days was audio, especially when we were doing
Yeah, I noticed that. Yeah.
anchor days. Those was difficult. Sometimes pushing the show is difficult because you don't want to push the show and the audience get upset that you're pushing it too much or you spamming them in their messages and getting people close to you to listen to your show. That always been hard for me because just like everything that you support, um, they see you as a person that they once knew, but they don't see you as a person that you're doing now. So that always been hard for me to push people that I actually know to give me a chance. Even though that changed over the years, but still a couple of people that I still want to listen to, but they haven't given it a chance yet.
Yeah, because you can admit that a lot of people are doing the same thing that you are doing.
Exactly.
It's
Exactly.
not just they honestly do have a choice of clicking on the button
Yeah, yeah,
and listen to it.
yeah. That's a fact, yo. And some people also be out here, think it's a competition when it's not the case at all. I feel like if you support other people that you know, that's not going to dim your light at all. It's not going to dim your light at all. We all could support each other and still be all right.
Well, everything, no matter what, is a competition. There has to be a
Really.
first. It's
I mean,
always been life. You can't really get away from it, and somebody always is always going to be a first. It's always going to be a second. That's why we have charts,
yeah, yeah.
and
That's
that's
very
why we
true.
have accolades
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah,
and
yeah,
awards.
yeah. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact.
So people, no matter what, is a part of life. They always want to boast and see who. I got more than you. I got this more than you. I've been doing this for years, and so it is what it is. I see it all the time in every field. It's not just talking here. It's just everything.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. But yeah. But those
So you
are like,
still got to think in mind that you got to put your best foot forward
yeah,
because
yeah, pretty much,
the
yeah,
next man think about it like, oh, I'm number one on this chart. I've been here for so long.
yeah. That's a fact. Yeah.
So when did you get on Good Pods?
I believe it was I want to say September 2021. September 2021. I believe I was on Good Pies, and Good Pie hit me up. They've been trying to get me for like a year. I keep saying no. So I keep saying no. But then one day I gave in once my podcast show was taken off Spotify. Cause during
Mm,
that time I needed more platforms. So I like, you know what, let me check this Good Pod out and see what's up. I got on Good Pods. It was an interesting thing because it make you see a whole bunch of podcasters that I did not know, you know. So I'm on it. I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just pretty much basically just trying to grow my platform and trying to grow my show on that platform basically. And then one day it started growing.
yeah, I feel you.
But yeah,
So
and then
that is
yeah,
something because Good Pods really changed how you. It really changed the game a little bit for you now because you got a platform and you have charts
yeah,
so you could see that more people are noticing your shows, even people on a broader horizon. And that's what I noticed when you introduced us to Good Pods. I'm like, wait a minute, these people are people from all over the world,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they
Oh
checking
wow.
out our show.
Yeah, yeah. When I saw that, I was like, wow, and this also represented like indie podcasters. So it wasn't even about mainstream like that. It was about indie. So I was like, wow, this is really dope. And when I first got on the charts, I was even shocked. Like, oh, there's a chart here. I didn't know that when I was exploring it. I didn't know it was a chart. Until until they notified me that I was on a chart. Like, oh wow. So yeah,
So I mean, a lot of things coming up for Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast.
yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
just did your 200th episode.
yeah,
That was good. And you basically told straight up exactly about some stuff.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
good. Straight no chaser.
Yeah, pretty much, yo. One thing I like to do with my show is I like to break records. I like to do as much as I can. 200 episodes. We about to hit five year anniversary, and yeah, it
By the
just
time this will be released, will be the 5-year anniversary.
it be I believe it'd be the week of, it'd be the week of, so it's perfect. But it'd be
Perfect.
the week of, so it's perfect. But yeah, it's just an honor to continue to do this, for 5 years because it been many times that I've been wanting to give up. It been many times that I didn't think that people were gonna listen to me. It been times that I didn't think that I would worth being doing this thing, and I just kept going and and realizing like why am I doing this in the first place? I just kept going, and the fact that a lot of people admired that I kept going and admired that I never gave up, and the fact that people started this show because of me, it been like
Yeah,
a
you
real
became an
honor.
inspiration to
It been
many
yeah,
people.
yeah, and yeah, I've been an inspiration for many people, and when people tell me that, I'll just be just as shocked. Honestly, I didn't think that my impact would do anything. I don't think my impact would do anything, and the fact that people hit me up, say you're inspiration to me, keep going, you're so supportive, never give up. It made me realize my purpose and why I'm here and what I'm here to do. So it's just an honor, and I'm going to continue to do all I can to push my brand to be a better person for me and everybody around me. You know, that's basically what it is.
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, me seeing it from the outside, I don't really understand everything.
Yeah,
But as time go on, it makes sense later.
yeah, that's the thing, and I
That's
don't.
me. That's how I see it, though.
Yeah,
Honestly, and I'll be
yeah,
honest with that.
no, no, no. No, the thing is, I get why you felt that way. Because I know I'll be telling you stuff like I doing something this and that, and you just be like, why? But you never understand. But I like in my head like you would get it later. You get it later. You get it when you deal with the same thing. You would get it. You would get it. And I'm glad that you start to see it step by step. Because I never expect people to get me off the bag. That's the thing. I never expected. So I like when people say that they don't understand. I'm like, okay, cool. I get it. But you would get it later. Like like you would get why I go so hard later. You would get by why I move the way I move and why I do the way I do. So yeah, I like so I so when you saying that I was surprised. I just know I was like
Because I never thought that you needed a merch store yet.
yeah yeah.
When
I
you
mean
did, when you bought the merch store, I didn't think you needed it because I don't think you was at that point to do a merch. I
yeah
purposely won't do a merch store right now. To
no
be honest.
I mean yeah but I mean merch store I mean I started the merch store I believe was year four I believe
Mm-hmm.
year
Yeah,
four
for.
I mean not year four I mean season four I should say so that probably year three.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I think I wanted to try it, but I didn't think it was. I didn't think nothing of it at the time. I honestly threw even to the. I still trying to figure out how to grow my merch even more. So, but people low key buying it, so I guess I'm doing something right. So yeah. So the merch store means growing, but I do at the growing process of that right now. So yeah.
So, what is the now we get into the 5 years mark? What do you have planned, or what do you envision for this year of the future of the show?
Of course, more growth, more audience. I want to aim for celebrity guests. I'm gonna try my best to aim for celebrity guests. It don't have to be
It's
big celebrity
possible.
guests, but it's possible. Yeah, it don't have to be big celebrity guests, but it could be because celebrity guests got stories too. So I wanna aim for that next. Also, I want to get
It,
I want to get nominated
mhm.
and
Yeah,
win a podcast award. That's
yeah.
like one thing I want to do this year, and of course, step up the brand more, not only for my show but for Premier Ways as well. Because we also about to hit 5 years this year as well.
Wow.
Which you don't talk about, which you're not talking about, which is not talking about at the moment. But yeah, so basically take this platform to a high level, grow the audience more, network with more people, celebrity guests, and podcast, be a podcast winning, but be on a podcast winning show.
Yes, yes, yes. Now I want to talk about I've noticed for years that you did the quote of the day. You started posting quotes on the Wednesday. What was the at the time it was the Wednesday and the Fridays. Like talk about the process
So
and the
I
growth.
so I started making random quotes on my page for years, for years. But I did, but during that whole time, I didn't think nothing of it. I was supposed to it, just supposed to. One day, I'm at the club, put on that Taj, and I see somebody I know, somebody who know me from social media. They're like, "Hey Ken, you don't know me, but I follow you on social media. I just want to say thank you for posting your quotes every day because it helped me through all these hard times. Do not give up." So when I heard that, it made like, wow, people actually watching what I'm doing. People actually inspired by what I'm doing. Cool. So that when I started doing my quotes of the day Thursday posts, just regular
Mm.
posts on Thursday. It was just like written posts I post on Thursdays and stuff like that. It wasn't like major, but I just posted. I was doing that from 2018 to 2020 and stuff like that. It was like over 150 quotes that was written quotes and stuff like that. But then, 2020 happened, pandemic happened. I got a mic, I got headphones for the podcast, and I joined TikTok. And cause I don't like TikTok. I don't care about TikTok, but I have it just to have it, just so I could expand my business, social media more. But whatever.
Man,
So
if you get the right, I'm not a big fan of TikTok to honestly say this on
yeah,
the air.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you get the right video and your thing goes viral, it can change your life. So
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So I just got it. I just got it just in case. So and I just needed something to do on TikTok. So I like, you know what? I'm gonna do a quote. I'm gonna do a quote. Be a quote. And me, I wasn't big on being on video, but I feel like if I had to get more out there with my platform, I gotta try to start with video. So I did that video one day, and I posted, and I did preview it. It got a lot of likes on TikTok. It got a lot of likes on IG, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna do this as a thing now every Mondays, and close to the day Monday, as time went on, a lot of people loved it. A lot of people loved it. A lot of people hit me up like, "Oh my God, I love your quotes. It helped me a lot, a lot. Keep doing your thing. Don't give up. Keep doing it. Like it's really grew into
that's what's
something
up to hear
way,
that.
way big. People that don't even talk to me, but like, yo, I love your quotes. People in the street who see me, yo, I love your stuff. Your podcast, I love your quotes. Stuff like that. And when I went to call it a day, it made them go into the podcast after that. Oh, the quotes is so good. Maybe listen to the podcast too. And so it was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, yeah. I had a couple of people that did that, so it was a leeway for people to not listen to the course of the day, but listen to the podcast as well. And that avenue has grew a lot. So I was like, wow. So course of the day, every Mondays it should be back. By the time this recording, it'll be back already. But yeah, it became a big thing, and people was really inspired by it. Yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that too. I can't do it no more, basically.
That is what's up. That is what's up, man.
Yeah,
So it was great having you on this interview, man.
yeah, you already know, bro. It was see 2 parts, man. It was dope being back on Star Time, man. You're doing an amazing thing. Keep doing that. Star Time, and
What was your favorite episodes this second half so far?
um, second, I'm gonna say Advance. I like the Advance
Everybody loves the
episode.
Vance one.
I did like the Zoe episode, and I like the I Am Hype.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and of course Sans too. Insane episode too. I really like.
Yes. So definitely, it was great having you. Definitely, drop everything you need, and this is it.
You already know. Y'all can check out Mr. Gentleman Lifestyle Podcast every Monday for the main series, and every Thursday for spin-off series Thursdays, where we have shows like a conversation about music podcast every first Thursdays. Date Night Talk podcast with myself and Vanna B every second and third Thursdays, and the Old School Show with myself and the Star Rider Ride every fourth Thursdays. Hey, man, my social media, Ken underscore Mr. Gentleman, RB Ken, KEN underscore Mr. MR, Gentleman, GENTLEMAN, and we could, hit me up if you want to be a guest, everything like that. Mr. Gentleman, Lifestyle Podcast 5-year anniversary, January 20th. If you want to do an anniversary message, hit me up and I got you. Also, check me out on the Premier Boys podcast with myself, Aaron Quito San, Star Rider Rod, and Lola the Chief Matty Mal. Season 4 premiere, January 24th, and every Wednesdays after that. Check out the website, www.realwiththegentleman.com. Listen to the episode, watch the video, check every guest appearances. I've been on deep 2 parts will be on the website. Check every guest profile and buy some merch on tpublic.com. Just search with the gentleman like that podcast or buy it through the website. We got many things happening this year. Y'all might see me back in the nightlife scene. You just never know. Yeah, this is your boy Ken, aka Mr. Gentleman.
Yeah, bro. We'll be right back.